With me is Prime Minister of Moldova, Dorin Recean. Welcome to WION. It's great to speak to you in your country, and we will be talking about many issues. But let me start with your relationship with the European Union. Now, your country is keen to be part of the European Union. What is the current status, and what is the focus in terms of getting the membership? I believe there's a referendum which is on the anvil later this year. How do you see the referendum panning out?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for coming to Moldova and to give us this opportunity to speak to people of India and to speak to people of the Global South. So please feel welcome to Moldova, and I'm sure you will be having a very welcoming and warm stay here. Moldova has a strategic objective of becoming member of European Union because this is the best model for development for the people. This is why in the last 2 years we progressed dramatically on this agenda, and since December decision of the Council to open negotiations of European Union with Moldova, we are preparing the legislation, we are preparing the institutions, we are preparing the society in order to make the necessary reforms to become a democratic, a resilient democracy, so that we qualify for this membership. In October, we will have a referendum that will be about exposing this question to the people of Moldova so that they decide on this very important matter. Most of the people in Moldova, a strong majority is already on board. We want this decision to be taken and correspondingly be included in our constitution.
Mm-hmm. So there are reports which say that your country has signed a pact with European Union, a security pact, which will see more military engagement, which will see more security engagement with Brussels. Can you just talk about it, the pact, and do you think that it's a change in your stance, in your neutrality stance?
In the current environment, Moldova is strengthening its defense capacity, and we understand this not only as a responsibility for Moldova and for the Moldovan society, but also for the region. This is why we have strong collaboration with the European Union, but also with other allies and friends in order to strengthen our defense capabilities. We are very next to the war. Moldova actually has 1,200 kilometers of border with Ukraine, where Russia is waging a brutal and unjust war against Ukrainians. And this is why it is our responsibility to protect this border, not only for us, but also for our EU member states.
Mm-hmm. So you're confirming the signing of the Security Pact?
Yeah, we do have security arrangements and agreements with various countries, so that we can train, we can develop the capabilities, and we can also benefit of the acquisitions of defense means.
Mm-hmm. Sir, now coming to the situation you talked about, it's been 2 years. The situation in Ukraine has been something that has been worrisome for not only Europe, but for the world as well. What has been the stakes for Moldova? How have you been dealing with that?
First of all, we have to define clear what is this situation in Ukraine. And in Ukraine, what we have is a Russian aggression, a Russian war on the against Ukraine, against our neighbors, and obviously this affects very much the Moldovan society, the Moldovan economy. And please know that there are also illegally stationed Russian troops here in Moldova, in Transnistrian region. So we are very much affected by the Russian aggression in Ukraine, but also in other places. Correspondingly, we are strengthening our capabilities, we're strengthening our defense, not only in military terms, but also in terms of Russia waging a hybrid war against Moldova through propaganda, through paid-for protest, through organized squads to attack our police or our institutions. So I confirm that this is very much affecting Moldova.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the war could spread to your country?
At this stage, it is not possible a military escalation, but as I said, Russia is waging a hybrid war against us.
Mm-hmm. This has also led to a major refugee crisis. Your country is a small country and it has hosted a large number of Ukrainian refugees. If you can talk about how your country has been supporting the Ukrainian refugees for last 2 years.
First of all, I would like to say that I am very proud of people of Moldova. When the Russian aggression started in Ukraine in February 2022, it's not only that the Moldovan institutions reacted, but immediately also the Moldovan society, people of Moldova reacted. They were going to the borders, receiving the refugees that were running out of Ukraine because of the war, mostly children and women, and close to 1 million refugees crossed Moldova back then. At a certain point in time, about 15% of the population were refugees. Currently, we are still hosting almost 100,000 refugees from Ukraine, half of them women, half of them children, and we take care of them. We are integrating them into our society, into the public services, so that children can go to the kindergarten, to the school, to the universities, but also for the adults to be part of our social care system, medical assistance system. So this is the effort that we are making for our friends and neighbors, Ukrainians.
Mm-hmm. What's your biggest concern or fear with the war at your doorstep? And additionally, do you foresee the war coming to an end anytime soon?
The biggest issue is the atrocities that Russia is committing in Ukraine, killing people, killing men, women, older people, children. That is the biggest humanitarian problem. Obviously, the war next to our border is a problem for Moldova as well in economic terms, in social terms. So this is a problem actually not just for Moldova, but for the whole of Europe, and I would say also for the whole of the world, when the international law is not respected, and when a country is allowed to brutally intervene and to kill people in another country.
Mm-hmm. Switzerland is going to host the Peace Summit. Any hopes?
I think what is important is that more and more countries agree on a solution to support Ukraine so that Ukraine can regain its territory and being able to end this war.
Mm-hmm. Now moving to the larger problems perhaps in Europe, how do you see immigration as an issue for the larger European continent?
I think it is important for all the countries to be able to build a system so that Migration is an asset, actually, an economic and social asset, and correspondingly to build the institutions, but also the culture to be able to integrate into the society. We have this experience, as I said already. We're hosting almost 100,000 refugees from Ukraine, and you would see that they are very much welcome here in Moldova, and Moldovans feel good about it.
My question largely related to immigration from outside the larger European region. What's your view? Do you see it as a challenge for Europe?
If migration is managed well, then it is an asset.
Okay. Now moving to something that perhaps for the first time a leader is talking about, that's India-Moldova relationship. How do you see the relationship between the two countries panning out?
First of all, I would like to congratulate India for becoming the fastest growing and the large economies, and I think this is great for India, but this is great for the world as well. India, we see, is becoming more and more an important player on the international scene, and we are very glad that we open our relationships with India. We are very glad that we opened our embassy in Delhi, and hope that soon India will also open by reciprocity a embassy here in Chișinău. We see a great potential for exchanges, social exchanges, but also economic exchanges. Moldova, you will see, has great potential in agriculture, particularly wines, in IT, in pharmaceuticals, in energy, and correspondingly both countries can benefit of these opportunities. I would like to mention that already we have a large Indian contractor building our electricity high voltage line that integrates our grid into the European Union grid. We have a large student community here of Indians studying particularly pharmaceuticals and medicine. We would like to increase this effort so that more Indians can come here and study and work. We see great potential for the Indian IT and business service providers to open nearshoring operations here in Moldova. So we see great potential.
What are you doing to get investments from India? I mean, investments from India. I mean, why should an Indian businessman invest in Moldova? What are the sectors that they should look forward to?
Look, let me tell you the fact that Moldova has great potential, as I said, in pharmaceuticals, in IT, in energy, in agricultural, in industrialization of agriculture. And Moldova now has open access to the market of the European Union, which is the largest market in the world, with the most wealthy consumers. So this is the great potential, and this is the great asset that Moldova has. The other opportunity is for the Indian investments here for equipment manufacturing, for electronics, not only for the European market, but also in preparation of the reconstruction of Ukraine.
Okay. How do you see India's role in terms of global governance? India is a leading voice in the global south. It has taken a leadership role in many senses. So in that ways, how do you see India taking the mantle of global leadership?
As I said, we are very glad to see India growing, and correspondingly, this means also more responsibility. And we welcome this assuming of responsibility by India to become a voice for the global South, but also a voice that is making sure that there is an equilibrium in the world. We see now quite a number of crises, and these crises need to be managed responsibly. And big democracies are playing a very important role in making sure that the international law is observed.
You talked about, you've in fact already talked about the diaspora, the Indian diaspora. They're present, most of them are students. But essentially, when it comes to welcoming the Indian students, what are the plans? Your education system is something that is talked about in Europe. In fact, I've met some of the Indian students as well. So what are you doing to attract the Indian students?
We have a special program now that the embassy is in Delhi, to have a special program to advertise and to show the opportunities for education here in Moldova. We also opened consular services so that it is much easier to apply and to receive visa. Here at home, the universities are preparing themselves in order to host additional students from India, with the places to learn, with the teachers speaking English, with all the necessary for comfortable living and at affordable prices. So we already have quite an important capacity to host additional students, but we are also working hard on increasing that capacity. And on that matter, I would like to say that the community here is quite vibrant. The city, Chișinău, the capital, but also other cities in Moldova are very good places to live, very good places to entertain yourself. So this is again also a very important component of a student's experience.
Correct, sir. Tourism as well. I mean, it's a beautiful country. It's so cozy country. How do you plan to pitch Moldova as a tourism destination for the Indian travelers who have been pretty much going out? I mean, many countries have even announced visa-free for Indian tourists. So, how will you pitch tourism for the Indian tourists?
You will see here places that you won't see anywhere in the world. I'll give you just one example. Imagine tens of kilometers of underground cellars, and on the left side of the road and on the right side of the road, you drive by car, you would see barrels with wine. You would cross Chardonnay Street, you would cross Pinot Noir Street, and so on. So I very much hope and kindly ask you to show this to Indians at home, but also to the global South. We already made virtual tours so that people can virtual travel into these cellars, but I'm sure that nothing can compare to actual experience of these wine tours. Apart from that, we have some other natural beauties that are great for tourists. We also have the so-called wine tours, that you go from winery to winery, from cellar to cellar, and there you can taste various type of wines, but also taste great food.
Wine is something that I got to know while being here in this country. So especially when it comes to wine, Moldovan wine, are you planning to pitch to the Indian consumer as well? I mean, it's quite popular here. I could feel that going on the streets, but Moldovan wine is still not popular in India or maybe global South.
we have to do a bigger effort in advertising Moldovan wines and Moldovan wineries and Moldovan wine culture.
Okay.
What I'd like you to know is the largest producer of wines in the Central and Eastern Europe is from Moldova. And this is a very good asset on the Bucharest Stock Exchange. So the Moldovan wines are very, very good. So what I would like to say is come to Moldova, taste the wine, buy Moldovan wines in the local shops when they will be available. We already started these exports. For the Indian investors, I also would like to invite them to come here to see the opportunities and to invest in various fields, including in the agricultural industry.
Before I wind up the interview, just a plain simple question. Where do you see Moldova's place in the world?
Our objective is to be an equal member of the European Union and together as a large union to be an example for the world how to develop and how to bring prosperity to people.
But do you think that the war in Europe, war in Ukraine and the larger European continent could spread to your country after Ukraine? It could be you, and that could impact the vision you gave.
What I am sure of is that all democracies around the world will make a joint effort to help Ukraine to win the war, to liberate again its territories and to end the war.
Sorry to just go back to that part of the question, but essentially when it comes to Ukraine, you've already supported the Ukrainian refugees, but how are you supporting Ukraine politically?
We are always advocating with our friends so that they allocate more resources for Ukrainian military, for Ukrainian restoration, and for Ukrainian people.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to WION. It was a pleasure speaking to you here in your country and getting a perspective about what's Moldova's vision for the world and what's its vision for India as well. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.